I got involved in research because I really loved my biology classes in high school, so I decided to try that out in undergrad, and I just fell in love with all the labs that I was doing for my coursework, so I decided to get involved in a research lab. Always be curious. If you're curious about what's going on or how something might happen, it'll lead your project in new directions and you can start to discover things that no one even thought to look for before. So I absolutely fell in love with working in a research lab, and so I want to continue that as my career, and I hope to work in a research lab in the future.
Briefly, my project was to find a portable and inexpensive way to generate heat for situational capacities. I was very glad to have learned the lesson quickly, that if I'm curious about something, if I have a question about something, just to ask, because it shows better on my part trying to be more knowledgeable and understand my own humanity and where I fall short.
Yeah, so the project is called The Rural Impact, Analyzing Latino Communities' Political Ideologies. So I'm using oral history methodologies, which is conducting interviews with Latino community members and seeing how that impacts their political leanings. Something that surprised me about research is that anyone in any field can do it. When I first got to OSU, I thought it was kind of just a STEM major, something you would do, whether it was like biology or engineering, and I quickly realized that that was false. You can do research in any field. Starting research has definitely put me in a new path. I want to go into graduate school now instead of law school. I want to continue doing research. So it's definitely took over my life and became a new direction for me.
We were fortunate enough to work with Oklahoma State softball this past semester. We looked at body composition as well as skeletal health. I was surprised at how much I enjoyed it. I learned the empowerment of having others around you. So I worked with a grad student and he was super supportive. However, everyone in the lab is super supportive and everyone's willing to jump in. So having a good team around you is very important.
So the research project that I've been involved in on campus we're pretty much just studying how the overexpression of sulfate transporter genes can help plants tolerate arsenic toxicity better. And the number one thing that surprised me about research is just all the technology that we utilize on a daily basis. Coming into OSU, I was really just interested in going into the medical field, right? I chose biochemistry and molecular biology because it's a pretty good pre-med program. But getting involved in research and actually going through the motions of all the failures and all of the successes, it's really kind of diversified my career options. So I'm actually looking into graduate school, maybe an MD, PhD program.
I have been a part of research since I was 12. I started doing research at the local science fairs in my town and then moved up to the state level. And it's the reason I chose OSU actually is to pursue research because it was the one thing I was truly passionate about. My project is looking at how bacterial small non-coding RNAs affect host gene expression. I'm using Drosophila cells, which are fruit flies, and a bacteria that only affects insects, Wolbachia. I started out research looking at how naturally occurring components could be used as antibiotics, and then I transferred to a lab about genetics, and genetics is where I want to be for the rest of my life, and I plan to go to grad school and study genetics so that I can get a PhD and continue that for the rest of my life.